We talked last week about Fox News starting to set up support of Ron DeSantis for president in 2024, support for Ron DeSantis as the Republican nominee in 2024, and an abandonment, a bailing out, an escape from support for former President Donald Trump. And we played some clips, in fact, from Fox News that indicated that they're not saying we would support a Democrat over Trump, but Fox News seems to be very clearly positioning itself to support someone other than Trump in the primary. Donald Trump has now completely flipped out on Fox and Friends because Fox and Friends simply acknowledged there are polls that show Ron DeSantis ahead of Donald Trump for the 2024 Republican primary. They didn't even say we prefer DeSantis. They didn't say Trump sucks. They didn't say, sir, we don't want you anymore. They just said there are polls in which DeSantis is leading, and Trump raging on Truth Central at Fox and Friends. So let's look first at the clip. And this is so milquetoast. This is so banal. It's just there are polls that say DeSantis is doing better.
You've got people from all across the country convening in Tampa. I am thinking about that is a little different than a couple of other polls that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago in Florida, Blueprint Polling did a poll. DeSantis leads the former president in all age groupings. Then there was a University of New Hampshire poll in June. DeSantis actually led Trump 39-37. And that New York Times Siena college poll that we've cited quite a few times, less than half of Republican voters back Donald Trump as their preferred choice. So it's like the young people who are activists at that event, like the former president, but looking at these other polls, different answer.
Yeah, if you look state by state, Ron DeSantis is showing tremendous strength in New Hampshire, Michigan, and Florida.
Tremendous strength.
He's leading or tied with the former president. And Turning Point, run by Charlie Kirk, extremely impressive organization, and they are extremely enthusiastic and active.
Yeah. So pretty milquetoast, guys. It's like Trump's doing well in some places, but DeSantis is well in others. And there's some polls in which DeSantis is either tied or leading. That's just what it is. These are just facts. And Donald Trump triggered on his platform, Truth Social, Truth Central, by any suggestion that maybe someone in the Republican Party might vote for somebody else. Trump posting almost immediately, Fox and Friends just really botched my poll numbers, no doubt on purpose. Why would they botch it on purpose? Well, I guess if you think that they're starting to build a campaign against you, you would think that. That show has been terrible, gone to the dark side. They quickly quote the big Turning Point poll victory of almost 60 points over the number 2 Republican, and then hammer me with outliers. Actually, almost all polls have me leading all Republicans and Biden by a lot. Rhino Paul Ryan, one of the weakest and worst speakers ever, must be running the place. Anyway, thank you to Turning Point. The crowd and love was amazing. This is exactly what we've been hoping for. Fracture the party, let them tear themselves apart, destroy the party. And an important reminder on this Fox News thing. Just because Fox is setting itself up to probably turn on Trump and support DeSantis in the Republican primary, that doesn't actually mean Fox News, number one, has the power to turn the Republican Party against Donald Trump. And it also doesn't mean that if Trump is the nominee in 24, that Fox won't get in line and support him over whoever is the Democratic nominee. Obviously, they will. Let's take those two things one at a time. In 2016, Donald Trump won the Republican primary with Fox against him from the get-go. It was a long primary in 2016 for the Republican Party. It started in 2015, in fact, and there were 16 candidates, some large number of candidates. Donald Trump started polling almost nothing early. Fox News did not support Trump for the absolute longest time. Eventually, when Donald Trump had gained a bunch of momentum by attrition as the 1%, 2%, 3% candidates dropped out, and Trump was able to start coalescing support, and the evangelicals eventually reluctantly came over to Trump after he told some story about how he's against abortion now, Fox News eventually acquiesced. But they were against Trump, and Trump still won. So first of all, it's not clear Fox really has the power to torpedo the Trump candidacy in the Republican primary. Secondly, Trump is going to continue doing his rallies, finding ways to reach most of his base, even without Fox News necessarily on his side, even without being on Twitter. So that's not going to be a problem. And maybe the most important thing is, in the end, Fox News is going to get in line. And Fox News will get in line for two reasons. One, Fox can't support a Democrat. That would completely torpedo their brand. That wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. So Fox actually really has no choice of eventually supporting whoever is the Republican nominee. Even if the Republican nominee were eventually like an overt white nationalist or something like that, Fox would still not support the Democrat. They might maybe not super aggressively support the Republican candidate. Maybe they would. But Fox has a business model that's based on we support Republicans. And then number two, there is going to be some point at which it will be clear who the nominee is going to be. It's very unlikely that the nomination will be contested until the very end. It's just not usually that way. Usually before the media calls it, we kind of in the analysis space, reasonable people, we go, it's pretty damn clear who's going to be the nominee. And that is going to give Fox lead time to, in some credible to their audience way, it might not be credible to you and I, but in some way that is sort of credible to the Republican Fox News viewer, jump ship to whoever is going to be the nominee, because they can't lose out on access. That's one of the most important things for a network like Fox News. You have to maintain access to the Republican nominee who may eventually be the president. That's their most important thing. That's their business model. We'll have these clips on our Instagram, which you can find at David Pakman Show. We will take a quick break and be right back. I've seen several people in my life try to quit smoking or vaping, and quitting has so many benefits, but it does require a strategy. And our sponsor, Fume, is a one-of-a-kind inhaler that can help you quit smoking as a replacement for the hand-to-mouth habit of smoking. There is no smoke, there is no vapor, and there's no nicotine. Fume is just a small inhaler handcrafted from wood. It uses cores infused with fresh aromatic plant oils for you to taste and enjoy instead of a nasty cigarette or a vape. You can use Fume while flying, which is a big plus because there's no smoke, no vapor, no nicotine. Fume has flavors like peppermint and conker with a powerful minty sensation to simulate the menthol cigarettes. They have other flavors like cozy chai. I love chai myself. And lemon berry bliss for a sweeter experience. Fume has helped thousands of people quit, people who have tried everything else. Read the reviews. We talked to the Fume team. They're very proud of the lives that they've impacted. Throw out the cigarettes, get rid of the vapes, head over to breathefume.com/Pakman and use the code Pakman to get 10% off your entire order. The link is down below.